There can be a clash of thoughts, but yes, again, thoughts are the accrual of words. And yes, it is vital for words to project something else. But here, the responsibility lies on the shoulders of both the houses so that they can discuss and they can reach to a collective consensus. Well, this is my BlackBerry. And so, the BlackBerry advertisement itself says that we are patientless. We are always in a hurry and anxiety to know something. What we are doing here, we are just highlighting our flaws. Yes, we are patientless and our parents are experienced enough to let us know this. Calm, composure of a person are the pensive attitude which makes the person to engulf and to assimilate such capability of decision making. Now the song in the history making movie Three Idiots says 90% लाओगे तो घड़ी वरना छड़ी, क्योंकि रिश्वत देना तो खुद पापा ने सिखाया. Now the flaw doesn't lie in the perspective of parents but in the societal view. Parents are condemned for this, but aren't the children themselves who always take the remark being pessimist? Now the decision lies on us to say, to think whether it is really mehnat or the merely rishwat. The inspiring male chauvinist Anna Hazare is not a person who is in his merely adolescent age, but a stoic in his 70s who has a rock-solid experience. And yes, he has a fatherly image. Doesn't we know what corruption is? Doesn't we don't want to do anything about corruption? But yes, his teachings lead us to the path we always want to trod upon. Whatever be the situation and whatever be the circumstances, our parents will always stand for us. We can never expect our friend to do this, but yes, it is our parents. So in my opinion, nobody is right and nobody is wrong. But parents always have an upper hand because they are superlative into their experience. I just want to say, either you explain me or I convince you. This is a remark to our parents. Thank you.
Thank you, Nandish. Good morning, everyone. Alfred Schenwald said, "Learn all you can from the mistakes of others. You won't have time to make them all yourself." Honorable judges, respected faculty members, and my dear colleagues, I, Arun Malhotra, a BTech second year engineering student, is here to speak against the notion our parents always right. Just to get everyone's head go with a bang, I thought I should blog a bit about a subject that's been under my skin quite for a while. See, there is a big difference between always right and usually right. If you ask, are parents always right? The answer is no. And if you ask, they're usually right, the answer may be yes. Yes, parents do think of welfare of children with them in any case. But when they are more attached to them, they just want to impose their own wishes on them, with the mere thinking that their children are bound to obey them. They are unnecessary expectations because whatever they were not able to do in their past life, they want their children to achieve it. But do they think whether their child is physically and mentally capable enough? No, they don't. And this leads to demotivation and frustration. Maybe this is one of the cause for arrogant attitude, pessimistic values, mannerless in the regard for showing the parents tit for tat. And the most hot-boiling topic, suicide. Now, 70% of the society members think that parents are always right and we should follow them for our bright future. But do you think that they are always right? Experience matters. Yes, it does. They say it is the best teacher. But does it make you above mistakes? About 80% of the families in India are against love marriages. Do parents consent with the children? No. If at 18 I have the right to vote, at 25 I have the right to think that whether I can drink or not, then at this age I have the right to think whether I can choose my life partner or not. Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev are set examples who stood up for our independence, but they fought against their parents. They Did their parents had a diversified opinion? No. If they would have, then they would have consent with their children. Bill Gates, who was autistic, yet their parents condemned him by saying, "Tum kuch nahi kar sakte." And every one of us knows what's the Bill Gates story all about. In the end, I would like to conclude by saying that since we are debating here like this, we should even debate at our homes, because though parents are never always right, but the best way to resolve things is to talk everything out nicely. A parent or elder who just wants to go his way out without reasoning anything out will get nowhere. In the words of Peter Ustinov, come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out on the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are changing. Thank you and have a nice day.
Now next we have Shiva and Unanya, Team 50.
Debating and discussion, I would certainly echo the words of my friends that have presented themselves here. From the very first day when you were born, from the first steps that you took, from the first day that your parents brought you to school and enrolled you that they could possibly afford, and the day that motivated you to pursue your dreams, there were none other than your parents. Good afternoon again. I'm Shiva, and standing here firm on my ground to support the motion that parents are always right. But before I say parents are always right, I would clearly define what right does here mean. Are we talking of actions, motives, or intentions? And I safely assume that we talk of intention. So I think half of all the queries and doubts have been cleared, that all intention that my parents have for me, have for you ma'am, or for anybody here are right. 100% right. But when I decide on the fact, I believe and sadly feel that our moral values have been eroding when we question the people we value the most. Tell me if I'm wrong if I say that we should not question our parents' intention. Am I wrong? I guess I'm not. And I believe you won't really see. Again, talking of things that our parents have done for us, they're immense. Sending us to best schools, giving us insights into our lives, experiences their life sharing, it's endless. Seamless and experiences, stories, and motivation that are inbuilt in me and all of us that would make us stand here and talk about them. Is it right to even question our parents? Is it even a possibility that our parents can go wrong at what we do and what we believe in? Again, there's also a set of parents who are called assertive parents. When they want certain things in certain ways, they're overtly conscious of certain things like customs, beliefs, the giants. Let's say, study for 4 hours, do not go out late night. But tell me, is that wrong if they do so? Is it wrong if we respect our parents and our culture? I guess not. Again, I put the same thing in different words. They're like good high-end washing machines. Will they twist you, turn you, and pull you around? But when you come out, you're much cleaner and much more brighter. Again, understandably, when we see that our parents have been doing a lot for us, there's also a question that what we are doing for our parents. Isn't it a thing that we should uphold their name? Isn't it our right, our duty, that we really do something for them? Concluding that my parents said, go explore what you want. My parents said, do what your heart says. My parents said that you have potential. If you think that my parents were wrong, your parents are wrong, guys. Pit stop here and see what you're missing on. Here I conclude my debate. And I end with a positive note and give it up for all our parents who build us what we are and what will be in coming life of ours. Thank you. Please give it up for your parents, guys.
Honorable jury members, respected teachers and speakers in the house, a very good afternoon to all of you. Today our topic is Parents are always right, and I, Kumar Unnayan, stand here to express my views against the motion. Parents are always right. True? Surely not. And those who are too keen on such a typical notion, please analyze the issue more closely. Because for me, in the light of this topic, the time has come to put the thesis of parenthood outside the bracket of so-called morality and to look at it not merely as an unquestionable sacred relationship, but as a human relationship as well. Under the hammer of modern global trends, parenting has become much complex, and one of the major concerns is the issue of exclusive parenting. Parents in a mad race to create super kids are not hesitating in taking extreme steps. Leave aside the arguable issues of celebrity kids being exploited for money or underage teens flaunting swanky phones and cars. We are living in a time where a 3-year-old child is being sent to an etiquette workshop for learning the proper manners of holding a fork and how to pose an impressive gait. Isn't it time to realize that nowadays parents are rearing a ruthlessly ambitious breed, suitable to match the standards of a materialistic world, but when it will come to family values and human ties, the result will be a miserable failure. It's time for parents to stop looking at their child as a status symbol and realize that there is a big difference between a happy and a successful child. Generation gap, a very natural phenomenon where communication gap often leads to a dangerous peer culture. But this issue of conflicting ideologies can no longer be termed as a mere household trifle. The globally rampant cases of honor killings is a clear-cut example of conflicting ideologies between two generations. I ask you all, does the authority of being a parent gives you the right to butcher the life of your child just for your society-framed honor? Parenthood is a shared responsibility. There might be innumerable reasons on the part of parents for acts like divorce and extramarital affairs, but have you ever imagined the dire consequences it inflicts on the psyche of a child? What reason will you give to a child who suffers the most between the personal feud of two people? Who is to blame? Female foeticide, another relevant issue. And despite it being a largely society-made up institution, I strongly believe that nothing justifies killing on the part of parents. You can choose whether to be a parent or not, but to choose whether it's a boy or girl is downright cruel and unjustified. If you are so afraid to raise a girl child, then you should not decide to become a parent at first. Thus, from dictating their child to comparing them, from regulating their psyche to physically hurting them, parents too can be wrong at times when they are excessively permissive or harsh. I would like to conclude my speech now, and we should break the dictum that parents are always right, because one should always remember that just having a child does not make parents. Thanks a lot.
Now we have with us Shashank and Shai.
Good afternoon to all of you. Today, I, Shalini Sija, support the motion completely that parents are always right. How strange it is to observe a child
praying before God to show him the right way. But the very next minute, he fights with his parents, for he and his immature mind thinks that his parents do not understand his age. How can he forget that before entering this world, when he was afraid of the hatred, jealousy, insecurity which he might face in this world, God told him, I cannot be everywhere, so I have created your mother. And today, he's pointing out the same God. A dad is someone who wants to catch you before you fall. Instead, he picks you up, brushes you, and lets you try again. Is he not God? But my worthy opponents are trying to point out the same God. I ask all of you, why? Why do our deeds differ from what we say? Parents. Parents are the unsung heroes of every individual who has ever done great. Parenthood involves many things, many trials and tribulations, but ultimately, parents will do what is best for their child. Their child isn't an experiment whose future well-being they can afford to chance on the outcome of something of which they know nothing. John Keats rightly said, nothing ever becomes real till it's experienced. Even a proverb is no proverb to you until life has illustrated it to you. Our parents are mature with enormous amount of experience in life. How can we forget that our parents were also children once? They know it all, the ifs and buts, the ups and downs, the yes and no's, yes. They know each and every single thing of the age which we are going through right now. Experience accounts for everything. That is why parents are always right. Parents decide to enroll their children in the best school. They are right, because education in the best school in the town certainly makes a difference. They decide the child should learn only what's important. And being important is very important in life. They are right as they know our strengths. They are strict with children as they know that instilling discipline in children takes a lot of time and patience. They are again right. In doing so, as to succeed, we need to be disciplined. I again stress on the fact that experience matters a lot. If not, there wouldn't have been a work experience column in our resume and it wouldn't have decided our salaries. Time may be wrong, but the advice of our parents cannot be wrong forever. One fine day, I heard a dacoit who held his mother responsible for me being a dacoit. Please, please do not blame your parents for who you are. They gave you the genes, and it's you who chose how to wear them out. No parent wants his child to succumb bad things in life. A mother and a father are not just parents. They have to be society conscious, they have to be family oriented, and last but not the least, they have to be responsible citizens. So they often set boundaries for us, which we call their mistakes. Our parents are always right. Everything is so clear, the path is so straight. But I'm here still standing before you to defend myself that parents are right and my opponents still here trying to prove my parents or your parents wrong. Why? Because our parents were once children and we are not parents yet. And to understand our parents, we must raise children ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Shalini. For every opinion, I believe, on a given issue, there will always be opponents with the opposite viewpoint, no matter how preposterous. Good afternoon all. My name is Shashank Bhargav and I'm addressing House against the motion. How often is heard the saying, to err is human, yet the agenda being parents are always right. Haven't we heard about Einstein, who explained the world, everything, every bit of it? Even he got his theories wrong several times. I mean, several times, reaching to the one perfect. And the one perfect still had a numerous vagaries involved still with it. And yet, the agenda being, the parents are always right. Being right involves the act of decision making, which involves its two implications. One, the effect on the near future, and the second being the people concerned. The first implication, that is, the decision making on the near future. To everyone, I believe the most affable and lovable entities in the living world must be their parents. But does this fact loop the equation of their being always right? The answer stands a simple no.
and hence the first act of decision making goes wrong abruptly. I agree, of course, our parents are likely to be more experienced, but not experienced to have everything and everything. The same setup, the awakening, the trance of the atmosphere in the world today is so different that one cannot be all the time right while making a judgment. What creeps in or what differs the two worlds is the generation gap, the mentality. Our parents cannot be always right because they rarely behave in the altruistic fashion. The part of hitting the right tap always does not depend on knowing the capabilities of his or her board. The unawareness of the parents regarding certain factors, that is the ambience prevalent and the recoil of the ambience, and the subsidies and the utilities prevailing at that point of time, can also affect the right decision making. Being right and thinking that you're always right are two completely different things. If a parent keeps on thinking he is always right or is in a stubborn situation about his decision, can pose several problems. The initiation of the cases in hand would probably ever if the child is powerless to the situation or is in no position to conduct an argument. The child would be mistaken in other two outcomes. If it is in infancy, he is likely to be failing or unjustly treated, but eventually he let it pass. But if it is in youth, it might lead to a grief or a grudge against the parent, confiscating issues resulting in an emotional war. The rebuilding on these dramatic and drastic issues, ever persistent situations, could just be quite a mountain to climb. Every man for himself should be the word. Let the mold and shape be yours, and parents provide with you the clay which is resistant to inconsistency in the values. I'll wind up my debate at last with a small instance that you cannot roll a dice to a same number every time. Similarly, decision making has various sides of it, and every side of it cannot be always right. Wisdom words. Just because you believe in something does not make it true. So, parents cannot be always right. Thank you.
Now I would like to announce the last performance. This is Ruby Chaudhary and Sandhya Tripathi, team code number 79.
The parts of mind are like the rays of sun dissipated. When they concentrate, they illumine. Shakespeare, a master, proved the surrealism of a child and the deliberated delicacy of an adolescent. I personally believe that someone with bulk of experience is required to shape up the wet clay of young pots and to control the fearless color of an adolescent. Good afternoon, myself Sandhya Tripathi, and today I am standing in front of you all to speak in the favor of the topic, parents are always right. There is no friendship, no love like that of the parent for the child. Mistake is an essence of human nature. They can be wrong in the professional fields or for the world outside, but they can never ever get wrong for those they bear the pain for long. Our presence move their feelings to an extent where they cannot resist the tears to come out. Tears of happiness. In the most biblical sense, our folks are like God. You know they're out there and you want them to approve of your life. But still, you only call them when you're in a crisis and need something. But in the most practical sense, I believe that parents have already gone through those circumstances and insecurities which we as a child suffer today. Regrets and mistakes, they're memories made. These regrets make them more experienced and show them the real face of the world so that they can prevent the child from doing the same mistakes. That just shows out why the parents are always right. We often consider the thoughts and the decisions of our parents as conventional. Just like that, we deny to face the truth that just for an unhealthy urge of happiness. Parents are not conventional, neither they are short-sighted. They think for the welfare of the child's future, which we often consider as a cruel practice of imposing rules. Pulling away the child from the pit of malpractices glorifies the status of our parents instead of regarding them as a family dictator. We never know the love of a parent till we become parents ourselves. History has it that in India, parents were considered pious and their wishes became ambition for the children. But the present scenario has been changed. The fire of aggression and disrespectfulness in children is arising. The constantly occurring fights make the parent take a step back and think where they went wrong. Middle path never pleases the either sides, but it's the only path we can follow. It's high time that children should start respecting their parents and make them feel like elders. In the end, I would like to say that parents can only give good advice or put them on the right path, but the final forming of a person's character lies in their own hands. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all. This is Ruby Chaudhary standing in front of you all to speak against the given topic. Firstly, let me make it very clear that I am against the given topic and not against parents. I love and respect my parents as much as any child would do. Parents are the caretaker of their offspring. They always think best for the child. But in the process of thinking best for the child, they sometimes take wrong decisions, which partially or deeply affect the child's life. Today's topic is parents are always right. Now there is a big difference between always right and usually right. If we look into our past, we will find that even God was also not right all the time. For example, when Lord Ram did not trust Goddess Sita. Parents are only human beings. When God can make mistakes at times, then how can parents be right all the time? I will try to convince my opponent by giving few examples. Some parents use abusive language in front of their children. Are parents right at that time? Some parents do not give equal status to boy child and girl child. Are they right at that time? Some parents want child to marry their choice, even though the child who will have to live the whole life with the other person is not even asked about his or her choice. Are parents right at that time? In some areas, parents try to impose things according to society. What society thinks, what society believes, what society says. For instance, Mr. Sharma's son got admission in MBBS college. Now Mr. Khanna also wants his son to get admission in MBBS college only because according to Mr. Khanna, if his son opts for some humanities graduation, then his prestige in the society would hamper. Just like the movie Three Idiots. And in this theory of society, Mr. Khanna's style life is ruined. Are parents also right at that time? No. Practically and scientifically, no human was, no human is, and no human will be right all the time, and parents also come in the same category. No doubt that parents are well-wishers of their children and have much more experience than us. But the things which they saw during their time have become different from the things which now are. Usually parents stick to the values which their parents used to have and don't want to make history of continuing forefathers' cultural and moral values. Even constitution get amendments from time to time. Then why can't parents change according to situation and generation and also listen to the child?